Добрий день, друзі.
Good afternoon, dear friends. Our media hub continues its work. I'm Olga Atamanova, and right now we have Vadym Boychenko, mayor of city of Mariupol, with us. Mr. Boychenko, can you hear us? Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon. You're welcome, Mr. Boychenko. Could you please tell us what's going on in the city of Mariupol at the moment? And first of all, indeed, everybody is very much worried about evacuation from Azovstal steel factory, whether it has happened or not, whether we managed to evacuate people. First of all, I would like to thank all organizers of this evacuation mission, UN, and others, and Irina Vereshchuk, for this opportunity to save hundreds of lives of residents of Mariupol who have spent more than 60 days hiding in bomb shelters in our fortress, so to say, in Azovstal steel factory. And now this evacuation mission is going on, and we hope that soon she'll be able to comment in person on that evacuation. Mr. Boychenko, at the moment we know that the previous evacuation attempt was successful. Could you please tell us whether people already reached the city of Zaporizhia? I mean those people whom you managed to evacuate a bit earlier, or we cannot say anything now? Well, yes, yesterday there was some wrong information. People who reached the city yesterday had nothing to do with Mariupol. Those were different people. Those were people from different cities who evacuated. So somebody provided some wrong information, false information yesterday. That mission is going on right now, and we are eagerly awaiting when that evacuation mission will reach the city of Zaporizhia, and then Ms. Vereshchuk, Irina Vereshchuk, will be able to comment. I would like to thank her for that, and she will be able to comment and to tell you about those obstacles in the course of that very important mission. Mr. Boychenko, could you please tell us, well, something like an hour ago there was a message, there was information from Deputy Commander of Azov Regiment, Sviatoslav Palomar, who said that the attack on Azovstal steel factory started. Do you have any information? Can you comment? I can only thank our heroic guys, our heroes who have been fighting for 69 days there. They have been defending the city with the flag of Ukraine. They are real brave heroes who have been defending our city, defending our country, pushing back, resisting the enemy who outnumbers them by several times. Unfortunately, every day there are sad news, every day there is some shelling, every day our heroic warriors have to defend that fortress which is called Azovstal steel factory, and now too it's happening. I'd like to ask everybody to support our heroic guys. They're real heroes today. Mr. Boychenko, now about the evacuation of innocent civilians from the city of Mariupol as such. Is it going on? I'm not talking about Azovstal now, but about the city at large. Is it possible to leave it now, or the occupiers have closed any routes from that city to the Ukraine's controlled territory? As we see, for 2 months as running, we have been trying to do something, and Ms. Irina Vereshchuk has been making huge efforts to achieve it, and the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, is making efforts. And there are Red Cross mission and the United Nations, that it's very difficult for them to do it, because we see that the city has been blocked, and only only involvement of international missions enables us to do something, to achieve something. Thank you, Mr. Boychenko. Recently there has been a lot of testimonies by residents of Mariupol, and not only by those from Mariupol, but also by people from towns and villages surrounding Mariupol, saying that some of them have been in filtration camps, for example in Mangush. Is there any information about the operation of such filtration camps? Yes, there is such information, as you mentioned. Indeed, the city has been blocked, and if you want to leave the city to either uncontrolled or controlled part of Ukraine. You know, people have to get some sort of document, a certificate, and if you want to get it, you have to wait in line, and that waiting may take 1 month or even more. And unfortunately, we see this sort of torture against the residents of Mariupol. Unfortunately, it is there. Unfortunately, they are very strict towards civil servants and municipal employees. They are brought into prison, and then they are kept in some sort of a prison cell, which has the dimensions of 2 by 3 meters, 2 meters by 3 meters, and unfortunately, there are 10 or 15 residents of Mariupol there. They have to sleep while standing. They don't have food, they only get water, and once a day they are brought to a restroom. And there have already been testimonies of that type provided by our residents who have left that hell, and they have been testifying to our law enforcement. Unfortunately, that's what's going on in our city. Unfortunately, Russians are very strict about screening of those residents who want to get to Ukraine, to control territory. According to your information, how many people still remain in Mariupol, if you have that information? Many people still stay there, innocent civilians, residents of our Mariupol, who have been waiting for a long time, unfortunately, to be evacuated, and they pray to be evacuated, and we cannot always, not always are we able to carry out that evacuation with our involvement. We have to engage our international partners, international expertise. You know, 100,000 of local residents are still awaiting evacuation from the city of Mariupol. Mr. Boychenko, I know that in your, I think in Dnipro, you have launched some hub which is helping Mariupol residents who managed to leave that hell. Could you maybe tell those who have managed to leave Mariupol what sort of services they can help, how the government can help them? That's extremely important. This is a very important hub, in my view, family support hub. It is helping and supporting local residents of Mariupol in terms of social security, legal support, medical, psychological support, and humanitarian component. Everything at one place, in one building, so you don't need to walk around various places. You just enter one location and you get everything here there in one place. The main purpose is to support our residents who unfortunately are lacking everything, and they have to be saved and rescued and supported psychologically and supported medically sometimes. And this center, this hub that we opened in Dnipro, we are also planning to open such hub in Zaporizhia this week. It will happen this week, and there will be many hubs, many centers like that in our regions. And our main goal is to support our residents of Mariupol wherever they are. Dear journalists, you're welcome. You can ask your questions. Please introduce yourself and speak into the microphone. I'm Victor Gatsenko from CGTN. You mentioned the role of Red Cross and the United Nations in the process of evacuation, but could you please tell us, if possible, in a bit more detail about the role of the United Nations in organizing this whole process? And please speak a bit louder if possible. Well, I cannot speak loud. Well, I can speak louder and I can tell you something, but we'd like to see the completion of this mission to have some final effect. That is to say, we'd like to see people reaching the government-controlled part of Ukraine, and then we'll provide you all those comments, and we will assess what we managed to do, where we have not managed. It's very difficult to comment because the evacuation process is in progress now. Thank you. You're welcome. Any more questions? Vadym, I cannot but ask you a question because there is a lot of information of all sorts on social media, and people are saying that in Mariupol there is allegedly some cleaning, so to say, and seemingly those Russians, those occupants are preparing to have some celebration on the 9th of May or something. Do you have any information? We have information that our people, residents of Mariupol, are taken to take part in those works, humiliating works in sorting out the trouble, burying those bodies. Russians have killed more than 20,000 of local residents. They want to hide their crime. They want to hide bodies in mass graves. They take bodies out of Mariupol because they understand that soon the weather will change. And there will be another big problem, which will be not only a humanitarian problem, but also a problem with infections. They understand that, and unfortunately, they get our local residents involved in those works. That's humiliating. Local residents are forced to do it just to get some food from those occupants, from the occupying powers. That's unfortunately what's also going on now in our city of Mariupol. And speaking about their preparations for anything, you know, they have done whatever they could. They have declared that sort of liberation operation, which is actually a genocide of Ukrainian nation, because they killed 20,000 local residents. You know, during the whole World War II, in 2 years of occupation of Mariupol, Hitler, Nazis killed 10,000 of locals, and Putin has killed 20,000 in just 2 months. So Putin has already outnumbered Hitler. You know, he has destroyed the city. It was a modern European city, and the city was going to continue to develop to become the best city, and they destroyed it. Vadym, now about the forceful deportation. Do you have information how many residents of Mariupol have been forcefully deported to Russian Federation, and what happens to them? Do they manage to return back to Ukraine? We have already verified the lists of those deported to Russia or to so-called Donetsk People's Republic. There are almost 40,000 people. Now they have started hiding those lists, and now unfortunately we don't manage to verify everybody, but we continue that work, and we see that more than 40,000 local residents, when we compare with the registers, the records of our municipality, have been brought to the Russian Federation, or so-called Donetsk People's Republic. There, those local Mariupol people are brought to the outskirts of Russia, to Far East or to Siberia, and those people are used in various works. They are given some certificate of a displaced person because, you know, there are no Russians in those remote parts of Russia. They don't work to live and work there. So our people are forced to work there. It's also some sort of like fascist Nazist regime. That's like what Stalin did, what Hitler did. When they occupied territories, they deported people and they engaged those people in some sorts of work where local people did not want to work. So in those outskirts of Russia, we see this demographic influence that 20% of Russian remote areas lost their population, so now our people are deported there. Thank you, Mr. Boychenko. Dear journalists, do you have any other questions? No more questions. I'd like to thank you very much for finding time to join us here on air. Thank you. And I'd like to remind you, dear friends, that at 5:30 we'll have an additional briefing. It will happen here on site on our premises here at Ukrinform, and we'll have First Deputy's Head of Verkhovna Rada of the Parliament, Alexander Kornienko, with us, and we'll discuss the economy of the war and social policies, and we'll also discuss a statement by Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of Great Britain, his appeal to the Verkhovna Rada, which happened today, and we'll discuss the prohibition of collaboration with parties and its implications for local councils, local self-government. And at 6 p.m. We will have here in our studio Olga Stefanishina, Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine for European and Euro-Atlantic integration of Ukraine, as well as Pramila Patton. She has come to Ukraine. She has a special representative of the UN Secretary General about sexual violence during wartime, and we'll discuss the support and assistance for those victims of sexual